Chosen one, you've evolved into something that others can't quite grasp. You've taken on a role that many fear, and in doing so, you've become someone they never expected. You've perfected the villain persona, the one that pushes boundaries, challenges norms, and doesn't back down in the face of opposition. And now they're too scared to even test you. The ones who once doubted you, dismissed you, or even tried to silence you, they've realized something. Your power isn't something to be trifled with. They see the force you've become, and it's shaking them to their core. But what does this mean for you as the chosen one? What does it mean when you've become the person others fear? Is it a moment of victory, or is it the beginning of a deeper transformation you've yet to fully understand? This shift is a crucial part of your journey, and how you respond will shape the next phase of your path. Are you ready for the power that comes with this fear? Are you prepared to move forward even when the world trembles at your presence? Chosen one, if you have been guided to this channel, it's not by accident. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications to become a part of the official Kingdom Calls family, so you never miss the divine wisdom meant to uplift and guide you on your sacred path. And type 1111 in the comments to let the universe know you are ready to receive this wisdom. As you walk the path of the chosen one, there comes a time when you realize something profound. The very energy you've carried, the persona you've developed, has shifted. At one point, you may have felt like the underdog, misunderstood, overlooked, or dismissed. But now, the tables have turned. You've come to embody a force, a presence that others are now afraid to challenge. The persona you once feared would limit you has become the very thing that stands as a testament to your strength, your power, and your purpose. It's strange, isn't it? To be the one who was once underestimated, only to evolve into someone others now fear. This transformation is not just external, it's spiritual, emotional, and deeply personal. The world might see you as the villain, but in reality, you are walking the path of a warrior, one who has been through countless battles and emerged stronger each time. This fear you've instilled in others is not the fear of destruction, but the recognition of your potential. It's a fear that stems from their inability to comprehend the vastness of what you carry within. You are the living embodiment of strength that no one saw coming. And it's this very strength that will propel you forward in ways you may not even fully understand yet. For the chosen one, the journey to this point has been anything but easy. You've had to contend with opposition, rejection, and doubt from every direction. But in the face of these challenges, you did not break. Instead, you learned, you grew, you took the experiences that were meant to shatter you and used them as stepping stones. Every rejection, every moment of betrayal, and every struggle shaped you into the person you are today, the person who has the power to make even the strongest fear your next move. But what does this mean for your spiritual journey? What does it mean for your connection with God and for the purpose that lies ahead of you? When you were first called, you may have wondered if you were worthy, if you were the one who could carry out the mission God had set before you. You may have looked at your life, your flaws, and your weaknesses, and felt far from the person you were meant to be. But what you didn't know then is what you know now, that the very qualities you thought would hold you back were the ones that would propel you to greatness. You've perfected the villain role, not because you enjoy causing harm or fear, but because in the spiritual realm, the villain is often the one who challenges the status quo, who refuses to be bound by limitations, and who pushes forward in the face of insurmountable odds. How you wield this power, this newfound presence, will determine the trajectory of your mission. You have been called not to be a tyrant, but to be a guide, a leader, a beacon for others to follow. The fear that others feel is only temporary. It's a reflection of their inability to grasp the depth of your purpose. But when you walk with God, you are given the wisdom to navigate the complexities of this journey, to understand when to lead with strength and when to lead with grace. The role you've perfected, this villain persona, serves as a necessary tool in your spiritual toolkit. It's a shield that protects you from those who wish to distract you, and it's a tool that will help you break free from societal expectations. But it's crucial to remember that this shield is not your identity. It's only one piece of the divine armor God has placed upon you. As you move forward in your journey, you will need to balance this strength with humility, this fearsome energy with compassion. The world may tremble at your power, but your true strength lies in how you use it. There is a temptation that comes with this power, the temptation to let it define you. When others begin to fear you, it's easy to slip into pride, to believe that you are the one in control, the one who calls the shots. But this is where the true challenge lies. The chosen one is called to be a servant, to use their strength for the greater good. The world might label you as a villain, but God sees you as a vessel meant to pour into others, to guide them through their own struggles and to help them understand their own power. As you continue on this path, remember that the fear others have of you is not about your personal greatness. It's about the greatness of God that shines through you. The enemy fears the light you carry, the purpose you serve, and the kingdom you are building. Your journey is not about proving others wrong. It's about staying true to the calling that God has placed upon your life. The more you lean into this purpose, the more you will understand that your role is not one of villainy, but of divine leadership. This fear that others have of you will fade when you begin to use your power wisely. The chosen ones are not meant to walk through life in isolation. Their power is meant to serve, to uplift, and to challenge others to rise up and claim their own divine destiny. The more you walk in your purpose, the more the fear will transform into respect and eventually into alignment. This moment, where you stand at the intersection of power and purpose, is just the beginning. The fear others have of you is only the surface level. What truly matters is how you wield your power moving forward. The next phase of your journey awaits, and it will demand that you grow into your role as a spiritual leader, a leader who understands the sacred responsibility of their power and who uses it for the divine will of God. The chosen ones may be feared, but they are also revered, and this journey you're on will only grow more powerful as you continue to align with your divine calling. As the chosen one, you've walked a path filled with opposition, trial, and transformation. You have risen from a place of being dismissed or underestimated to now standing in your own power. Your presence alone has begun to instill fear in others, not because of the darkness within you, but because of the light you carry. The very traits that once seemed like your weaknesses, the ones others tried to exploit, have now become the sources of your strength. The journey you have taken so far has shaped you into someone who embodies a force that cannot be ignored, even by those who once thought themselves untouchable. In this moment of growth, it's important to reflect on what it truly means to be the villain in the eyes of the world. The labels they place on you are not the truth of who you are. They are a reflection of their own inability to comprehend the depth of your transformation. While the world sees a powerful force that threatens the established order, God sees you as a vessel of divine purpose, a warrior who has been forged in the fires of struggle and adversity. The fears others have of you are not just about your external actions, but a deep recognition of the divine calling upon your life. They see in you the potential to disrupt systems, to change paradigms, and to shift the world in ways they cannot yet fathom. But here's the thing. While you stand as a powerful force in the spiritual realm, it is crucial to remember that this power is not your own. It is a gift from God entrusted to you to fulfill the mission He has set before you. The persona you've developed, the one others may fear, is not something to be clung to or idolized. It is a tool, a shield, a piece of the armor God has equipped you with for the battles ahead. It's easy to become attached to the identity of the villain, to take pride in the fear others have of you, but this can be a dangerous trap. You were never meant to be defined by the role others have imposed upon you. You are defined by the calling God has placed on your life, and it is that calling that will shape the true essence of who you are. As you walk forward in your journey, You may feel the weight of this transformation. You may wrestle with questions of identity, wondering if the person you've become is the person you were always meant to be. There may be moments where the power you hold feels overwhelming, or where the fear others have of you begins to feel suffocating. It's in these moments that you must return to your source, God. In Him, you will find the clarity you need to navigate the challenges ahead. His wisdom will guide you in using your power wisely, in knowing when to stand firm and when to show mercy. The spiritual journey is not about dominating others with your strength, but about using that strength to serve the greater good. The fear others feel when they see you is a reflection of their limited understanding of your path, not the reality of your role. In fact, the more you align with your true calling, the more that fear will dissipate. It will no longer be about what you can do to them, but what you are meant to do for the world. As you step further into your purpose, the world will start to see you not as a threat, but as a leader, a beacon of light and hope in a world that desperately needs guidance. And with this shift in perception comes an important lesson. The way forward is not always about confrontation. The most powerful leaders know when to fight, but they also know when to lead with wisdom and compassion. This realization comes with time and spiritual growth. It requires you to develop a deeper understanding of your own power and how to wield it in alignment with divine will. As the chosen one, you are called to lead with humility, recognizing that your power is not for personal gain or glory, but for the fulfillment of God's purpose. The spiritual growth you've experienced so far has prepared you for this moment, but there is still much to learn. You will continue to evolve, and as you do, you will gain more insight into how your power can best serve the world. Your journey is far from over. In many ways, it has only just begun. Your fearlessness in the face of adversity is a testament to the divine strength within you, but you must also remember that there is a time for gentleness and mercy. As you walk forward, the balance between strength and compassion will become crucial. The world needs leaders who not only carry power, but who also know how to wield it in service of others. And it is this wisdom, this ability to lead with both strength and humility, that will truly define you as the chosen one. God has placed a powerful calling on your life, and the journey you are on is one of immense spiritual significance. As you reflect on the path you have already traveled, understand that every moment, every trial has led you to this point. The power you carry is not an accident. It is a divine gift. But it is up to you how you use that gift. Your journey is not about proving your strength to others. It is about using your strength to fulfill the purpose God has called you to. And as you continue to walk this path, remember that the world may fear you, but God's plan for you is much greater than any fear they may have. You've walked a path that few can truly understand, a journey filled with challenges, triumphs, and self-discovery. And now, you stand at a crossroads with a power that is undeniable, yet you may still find yourself asking, what's next? You've perfected the persona that others once feared, but there is an unsettling feeling that lingers beneath the surface. What do you do with this power? How do you move forward when the world is too afraid to even challenge you? There is a tension in your heart. On one hand, you know you've come far. You've overcome countless obstacles, transforming what once seemed like weakness into an indomitable strength. Yet, with this transformation comes a new set of questions. Questions that perhaps you've avoided until now. You've stood in the shadows, fought in the trenches, and risen through the ashes. But now that you've reached this height, you may be wondering, does the fear others have of you reflect the depth of your purpose? Or is it a barrier you need to break through? How do you use this newfound power to walk the path of your divine calling without being consumed by it? At this very moment, you may feel the weight of the calling upon your life growing heavier. The fear others have of you, the intimidation you now evoke, may feel like both a blessing and a burden. It's easy to let that fear define you, to hold on to it as a shield that protects you from the chaos of the world. But at the same time, there is a lingering unease, a question that you can't quite shake. Is this truly the role God has set out for me? Am I using this power to serve the greater good, or is it becoming an obstacle to fulfilling the divine purpose that is written in my soul? The world sees you as someone they can't touch, someone who's untouchable because they don't understand the depth of the calling on your life. They may call you a villain or an adversary, but are you truly the enemy they perceive you to be? Are you the villain in their story, or are you the hero in God's story, standing on the edge of a divine transformation that will shake the foundations of everything they thought they knew? There is a difference between how the world sees you and how God sees you. And while the world's perception may be a reflection of their limited understanding, it still leaves you with a burning question. How do you step into your purpose without being trapped by the perceptions of others? As you stand on the precipice of your next step, you may feel like you're teetering between two worlds. One world sees you as a force to be reckoned with, a power that cannot be denied, while the other world calls you to something greater. The deeper question you now face is, can you balance the power that has been entrusted to you with the humility required to walk in the fullness of your calling? There are still many layers of your journey to peel back, and each one presents new challenges. The fear others feel may be a sign that you're on the right path, but it could also be a signal that you need to refine your approach. You're not only learning how to wield power, you're learning how to wield it wisely, in alignment with God's plan, not for personal gain, but to fulfill the divine will He has set before you. How do you navigate this fine line? How do you hold on to the strength and power that has gotten you this far without allowing it to overshadow the greater purpose that awaits you? You've conquered countless obstacles to arrive at this moment, but the next step is not about proving yourself. It's about surrendering your power, your control, your identity to the divine will of God. In this surrender, you may find that the answers you seek are already within you, waiting to be revealed. But this revelation requires trust. Trust that what you've become is not the end of your journey, but the beginning of a new chapter. You've risen from the ashes, and now you must decide whether to keep rising or to remain grounded in your true purpose. There is a fine line between the power you've mastered and the humility required to walk in your divine calling. But as you continue forward, there will be moments where you will need to lean into God's guidance more than ever before. Your journey is far from over. You stand at the threshold of a deeper understanding, a deeper manifestation of your divine purpose. The question remains, what is the next step? How will you channel the fear others have of you into something transformative? How will you lead, not as a force of destruction, but as a force for divine creation? You've perfected the villain role, but what comes after that? How do you move beyond the persona that the world sees and into the reality of who you are meant to be? As you stand on the edge of the unknown, with the weight of the world watching you, it's time to look within, to understand the deeper mysteries of your path and the divine calling that beckons you forward. You've walked through the fire of adversity, embracing the darkness that once sought to consume you, only to rise, stronger, more aware of your purpose. The world now sees you as a force to be reckoned with, untouchable, intimidating, perhaps even a villain in their eyes. And yet, as powerful as that perception may be, there is still a lingering question in your soul. What now? You've faced down your fears, transformed your weaknesses into unshakable strength, and learned to wield power in ways that others find hard to comprehend. But even in this newfound strength, you still sense the weight of something greater calling you forward. You're at the crossroads of a deeper understanding, one that will not only redefine how you see yourself, but how you navigate the divine path that stretches before you. This moment, this threshold you're standing on, is not a point of no return. It is the gateway to something far more profound. There is a spiritual revelation that awaits you, one that, once embraced, will shift your perspective on everything that's come before and everything that lies ahead. You're not simply standing at the precipice of power. You're standing at the edge of divine clarity. In the silence of your heart, in the stillness of your soul, you may have felt the divine whisper, the voice of God, gently asking you to look within and recognize a truth that transcends the fear others have of you. You've been building power, building strength, and honing the very qualities that once felt like burdens, transforming them into tools that protect, guide, and defend you. But now it's time to ask yourself, why have you been given this power? What is it for? And more importantly, how can you use this power in alignment with your divine purpose? Here's the breakthrough, the insight that will guide you in the next chapter of your journey. You are not called to lead from fear, but from love. Yes, you have perfected the villain role, and yes, the world trembles at the power you wield. But that power, that persona, it was never meant to define you. It was only ever meant to prepare you for something far greater. The fear that others project onto you is a reflection of their inability to understand the divine force within you. They may call you a villain, but deep down, they are sensing the very truth that you've yet to fully comprehend. That you are a vessel of God's power, designed to do more than just challenge the systems around you. You are meant to heal, to transform, to lift others up, not through dominance, but through the divine light that you carry. It's easy to get caught up in the external perception of your journey, to be swayed by the way others see you and the fear they project onto you. But as you've learned, the most powerful thing you can do is recognize that the world's perception of you is not the truth of who you are. The world sees a threat, but God sees a leader, one who is capable of bringing about divine change. Your transformation was never about becoming a villain, nor was it about acquiring power for the sake of power. It was about becoming the person you are today, someone who understands the true weight of their calling. It was about refining your strength, your character, and your spiritual resilience so that you could fulfill a greater purpose. And now that you stand in this space where you are recognized, where the world is afraid to challenge you, you must come to terms with the most important question of all. How will you lead? The answer lies in embracing love, not the worldly, fleeting kind of love, but the divine love that comes from God. It is a love that sees beyond the external, beyond the labels others place upon you, and looks straight into the heart of the matter. It is a love that gives without asking for anything in return. It is a love that empowers others, lifts them from the ashes, and leads them to a higher purpose. Love is the source of your true power. Not fear, not dominance, not control. This divine love calls you to a deeper understanding of yourself, and it calls you to something far beyond just your own journey. It calls you to use your power to help others discover their own divinely ordained purpose. Your strength, your resilience, and your ability to rise above the ashes are meant to inspire others to do the same. You've been called to lead with humility, to channel your divine purpose into the world around you, and to show others that they, too, can rise. When you look at the power you've gained, see it for what it truly is, a tool to guide others. The fear others may feel towards you will eventually dissipate as you step into your true calling. The power you have is not meant to be feared, it is meant to be respected, not because of the dominance you've learned to wield, but because of the deep spiritual truth that you carry within you, that you have been chosen for something far greater than your own self-interest. The moment you realize this, everything will shift. The very fear others have of you will begin to work in your favor, not because of the persona you've created, but because of the light you've become. The darkness that once consumed you has now become your light. And that light will guide not just you, but all who are called to walk with you. You've perfected the villain role, yes, but what's coming next is the revelation of the true role that God has for you, a role that will require not just strength, but wisdom, not just power, but compassion. It's not about dominating others or being the source of fear. It's about standing as a beacon of light, standing firm in your calling, and leading others with both the power of God's love and the wisdom to know when to stand and when to show mercy. As you step into this next phase of your journey, remember this: you are not meant to stand alone. The divine calling upon your life is not just for you, but for those you are called to serve. The power you hold is not just for your own survival, but for the healing, guidance, and elevation of others. When you lead with love, the world will no longer see you as a threat. They will see you for who you truly are: a vessel of divine purpose, a force for good, and a beacon of hope. And so, as you walk forward, remember that the fear others have of you is not something to hold on to. It is something to transform. Let it fuel you, yes, but let it fuel you in service of God's will, in service of the divine purpose you've been chosen to fulfill. You are no longer the villain in someone else's story. You are the hero in the story God has written for you. Your journey is far from over, but this next chapter will reveal the deeper purpose of your power. It's not about continuing to fight, but about leading with wisdom, love, and humility. And as you do, you will discover that the true purpose of your power was never about what others feared. It was about what you could give. It was about what you could create, build, and transform in the world around you. The chosen one does not walk alone. They walk with God, and in doing so, they change the world. And now, it's time to fully embrace that truth. Now that you've begun to grasp the immense power and purpose behind your transformation, it's time to consider how to apply these insights to your ongoing spiritual journey. The road ahead may seem uncertain, but within that very uncertainty lies the divine potential that you are called to step into. You've perfected the villain role, the one that once protected you, the armor that kept you safe from the misunderstandings and chaos of the world. But as you stand here, God is calling you into the next phase of your spiritual awakening. And the question now is not how to maintain your power, but how to use it for a higher, more profound purpose. The world may be too frightened to challenge you. You've become a force, an untouchable entity that others can't seem to approach. But with this power comes a new question. Are you prepared to challenge yourself? The danger is that when others fear you, it becomes easy to stay comfortable in that role. It becomes easy to use the fear of others as a shield, to keep using your power as a source of self-preservation. But growth, real spiritual growth, occurs when you begin to ask the deeper questions, the ones that go beyond just holding on to what you have. The question now becomes, how do I evolve? How do I step into my purpose in a way that serves not just me, but the greater good? The persona you've built was necessary for survival. It helped you make it through the toughest trials. It allowed you to navigate situations where vulnerability could have meant destruction. But now, as you step into the next phase of your journey, God is asking you to shed that armor. It's not that the power you possess is wrong, it's that it's time to refine it. You're being called to move from a place of survival to a place of service. This is not the end of your transformation, it is just the beginning of a deeper evolution. As you walk this next step, you may feel an internal conflict. You've built a persona that demands respect, that commands fear, and that has served you well in your journey up to this point. But now, God is inviting you to let go of the power that has kept others at arm's length and to allow yourself to step into the fullness of who you are, beyond the armor you've worn. You've learned how to survive, but now it's time to learn how to live with purpose. It's time to step into a role that transcends fear and dominance and aligns with divine love and leadership. The fear others have of you was necessary to get you to this point, but it can no longer be the foundation of your identity. You've perfected the villain role, but that's not where your story ends. You are being called to transcend that persona, to shed that identity, and to step into a new one. You're no longer meant to be a figure of fear and intimidation. You are being invited to become a leader in God's story, not a villain. This transformation is not about losing power, it's about refining it, using it in alignment with God's divine will. What does it look like to walk in the fullness of your divine calling, to lead from a place of strength but also humility? This is the challenge before you. It's not just about having power or wielding it. It's about mastering the use of that power, ensuring it aligns with the divine purpose that God has for you. The world will still see you as a force to be reckoned with, but the difference now is that you will no longer need to prove yourself through fear. The power you wield will no longer come from a place of ego or self-preservation. It will come from a place of surrender and divine alignment. You may still find moments of doubt, moments where the old fear-based persona calls you back. But when those moments arise, it's essential to remember that these are the moments of growth, the moments when you are being refined. The challenges you face going forward will not be from the outside. They will be from within. As you let go of the old armor, you may encounter resistance from your own ego. But know that every bit of resistance is an opportunity for you to shed the old layers and step into your divine purpose. Your power is not meant to be hoarded, but to be used for a greater purpose. And while there may still be moments when fear and doubt creep in, know this: your divine purpose is greater than any fear that may hold you back. You are not defined by the role the world has assigned to you. You are not the villain. You are the chosen one, called to lead in a way that transcends fear. It's time to step into the fullness of your calling and let go of the fear that has defined your path up until now. This next phase of your journey is not about proving anything to anyone. It's not about keeping the world's perception of you intact. It's about stepping into your true power, the power that comes from God, and using it to serve the divine plan that has been set before you. You have the strength, the wisdom, and the heart to walk this path, but it requires a deeper level of trust. Trust in yourself, trust in God, and trust in the process of spiritual transformation. The path forward will not always be easy, but it will be filled with purpose. It's time to embrace the next chapter of your story, the one where you shed the villain persona and step into the leader you were always meant to be. The world may still fear you, but that fear will no longer define you. You are called to transform that fear into something greater, a force for good, a force for divine creation, and a force for God's will. Let go of the past, step into the present, and embrace the future that God has laid out for you. You are not just a figure to be feared, you are a vessel of transformation. Embrace that calling, step forward, and let your divine light shine. The road ahead may not always be clear, but trust that as you walk it, God will guide your every step. Heavenly Father, we come before you in gratitude for the power you have instilled in each of us, a power that has carried us through darkness, shaped us, and brought us to this moment. We thank you for the strength and resilience that has made us who we are today. As we stand on the threshold of a new chapter, we ask for your divine guidance. We recognize the villain role we've perfected, a role that served us in times of survival and protection. But now, Father, we feel your call to rise higher. We ask for your strength to shed the armor that once protected us and to step into the divine purpose you have planned for us. Grant us the wisdom to use the power you've given us for good, without ego, without fear, and without the need to prove ourselves. Help us become vessels of your love and light, leading with strength and humility. May we no longer be defined by fear or intimidation, but by the divine calling that rests within us. Give us the courage to transcend old identities and step into the fullness of our purpose. Remind us, Lord, that our true power lies in surrendering to your will, in trusting that you are leading us, and in knowing that our journey is in your hands. We pray for peace in our hearts as we move forward, confident in your guidance. May your Spirit be with us every step of the way, filling us with clarity, purpose, and unshakable faith. Let your divine will unfold in our lives, and may we walk in the light of your truth, always remembering that we are chosen ones, called for a higher purpose. In your name we pray. Amen. As you reflect on this prayer and the journey you are stepping into, I encourage you to remember that this transformation is not just for you alone. It's part of a greater plan, a divine purpose that is unfolding in your life. And as you continue on this path, I invite you to become a part of a community of like-minded individuals who are also embracing their true calling, shedding their past identities, and stepping into a new realm of divine purpose. If you feel called, I encourage you to subscribe to this channel and join the Chosen Ones family, a place where we can grow, learn, and empower one another. This community is not just about growth, it's about creating a space where we support each other as we walk in the light of God's purpose for our lives. Don't keep this powerful message to yourself. Share it with others who may need to hear it, who are also ready to shed their old selves and step into the greatness God has planned for them. Let's spread this message of divine transformation and empowerment so that we can lift one another up and together be the leaders God has called us to be. Remember, your journey is just beginning. The world may fear you, but that fear is a sign of your power, and now it's time to use that power for good. Step forward with confidence and know that you are not alone. God is with you, and the Chosen Ones family stands beside you. Thank you for being here. May God bless you, and may His light continue to guide your path. If this message touched your heart and you'd like to support the Chosen Ones community, consider donating to our Ko-fi. Your contribution helps us continue to create spiritually enriching content for you and others on the sacred path. Every donation, no matter the size, helps us keep this channel running and brings us closer to fulfilling our divine mission together. By supporting us, you're not just helping create content, you're investing in the growth and empowerment of the entire community. Thank you for your generosity, and may your heart always be filled with light and purpose.